Hello and welcome back for another episode of Patriotic Housewife. Well, whoever Travis is on X, he is doing outstanding work in exposing Andrew Kolvet's family web, the FBI, the military intelligence, and the Turning Point USA intersection of it all. And I can't say I'm shocked. We already knew from Candace's episodes where she talks about Andrew Kolvet having a very well connected family tree, as they say. And let's just say it's pretty extensive. So in today's episode, it's going to be one of those stories where the more you dig, the more questions start piling up. And we're just going to dig into Andrew Kolvet, the spokesperson for Turning Point USA, the worst PR manager we have ever seen. Are we shocked? I mean, I thought he would do better considering his position, but hey, here we are. Whether his rise into Charlie's inner circle was pure coincidence or something more layered, I'm going to guess the second one. As always, we're just going to lay out the information and then you decide what it means. Obviously, all alleged, and we will go from there. So let's just start with the family structure, tree, whatever you want to call it, because he comes from a blended family with 5 siblings. And it's just very interesting. So he has his older brother, Curtis Kolvet. He shares both parents with Andrew. And then the remaining 4 siblings, which are like JR, Will, Ashley, and Lauren, that carry a different last name, which we'll get into as we get into this post. Because Brent, Andrew's father, was married to Andrew's mother, and then they got divorced, and then he remarried. And the woman he married has a very interesting connected family as well, to say the least. So let's just jump into this X post because he did some very good research. And yeah, so it's Travis. It is EX underscore NIHILO underscore X. Andrew Kolvet's family dynasty, the FBI, military intelligence, and Turning Point USA collide. So, was it more coincidence that Andrew Kolvet was inserted into Charlie Kirk's life? Let's take a look where you guys can decide. Turning Point USA spokesperson Andrew Kolvet has 5 siblings. I just went over his siblings and how they have a blended family through a divorce. So not all the kids have the same last name. Andrew's father is Brent Kolvet. That is his biological father. His biological mother is Renee Francine Bridges. Brent and Renee would marry each other in July of 1978 in Douglas County, Nevada. As you can see, there's a marriage license number, and they would have 2 children, Curtis and Andrew Kolvet. After 13 years of marriage, they get divorced in September of 1991. And how do you say it? Washoe County, Nevada. There's a file number for that. Born in 1984, Andrew would have been 7 years old at the time of their divorce. After the 1991 divorce, Brent would marry Andrew's stepmother, Denise Capurro. It says it's a hard top to say exactly when their marriage occurred because there are no records that Denise relocated to Nevada by August of 1996. And before marrying Andrew's father, Brent, Denise Capurro was previously married to Joseph Richard Sizu, I believe is how you say the name, Jr., who was named after his paternal grandfather, Reverend Dr. Joseph Richard Sizu, a well-known theologian and pastor in New York and Washington, D.C. However, the interesting connections is his father. Denise and Joseph Sizu would have 4 children together. Denise's father-in-law and paternal grandfather to her children was Joseph Maps Sizu. Joseph Sizu was a long-serving FBI official in the 1960s and 1970s. He became the FBI's inspector in charge of Domestic Intelligence Division, effectively making him the right-hand man of William C. Sullivan. The FBI's Domestic Intelligence Division under Sullivan and Sizu would manage major programs, including surveillance and counterintelligence efforts against figures like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., civil rights groups, the Communist Party, and later expansions of COINTELPRO. During this tenure, Sizu would frequently author memos and reports related to these matters, including those tied to MLK surveillance, the smear, and removal efforts in the 1960s. Can we say we're surprised? No. I'm going to blow this up for a second so you guys can take a look at this document. and read through in connection with the investigation by this committee into the circumstances, surrounding the death of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Joseph A. Sizu. Interesting. April 28, 1978. We're just going to play this video so that you guys can just see the documents. I am going to turn the music off so that we don't get a copyright. And let's just let that play for a minute so that you guys can see the documents. And yeah, it's, I mean, it's like you can't make it up. And we can pause this here. Date December 1st, 1964. It says W.C. Sullivan, J.A. Rizzo. So he's on the paperwork again. Subject Martin Luther King Jr. Taking steps to remove King from the national picture. Offer to be helpful to, and it's obviously blacked out, in connection with the problem of the removal of King from the national scene. Call a meeting of, let's see, okay, leaders. And let's go back to playing this. Again, you guys can always pause the video as well, or go look this up on X to really look at the documents. It says this group should include such leadership as would be capable of removing King from the scene if they, of their own, I can't, what is it? It's hard to like read the darker stuff. Decided this was the thing to do after much a briefing. That don't sound too good. But again, are we super shocked? Not really. Sounds about right. And then he was just like accidentally like inserted into Turning Point, right? Back information was given to at least one wire service. William C. Sullivan, 52465, approved by J.A. Sizu, principal deputy to assistant director W.C. Sullivan, and that's use of FBI wiretaps. And we're back to the first document. So that is super concerning, interesting, all of the above, I would say. So Andrew Kolvet would have been around 13 years old when the Sizu name became a part of his family and story. While it is unclear if Andrew ever met the paternal grandfather of the four step siblings he grew up with, the connection and similarities is certainly enough to raise a few eyebrows in the wake of the FBI's pitiful investigation of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And that is an extremely nice way to put it. Good job, Travis, because that's some of the verbiage I don't even want to use at this point. Keeping lawfare a family tradition, Andrew Kolvet's father, Brent Kolvet, was a prominent Nevada district attorney and prosecutor involved in some of the highest profile cases of his era. His tenure was marred by accusations of using political punishment for political gain, his bids for re-election. Again, not shocking. So he went and posted, fact check in, the untold story of Andrew Kolvet, Turning Point USA. Spokesperson Andrew Kolvet tells Martha McCullum that Trump-era celebrity apprentice and Trump's friend Mark Brunette is what ultimately led him to Charlie Kirk. Andrew also confirms his father was, I'm sorry, guys, I lost my place. Was a district attorney. Andrew is definitely underselling the fact, but it's enough for us to figure out the rest. The correction, based on available documents, Brent Kolvet did not serve in Vietnam. That claim originated with Grok in September, was echoed by celeb Podium article, and was then proliferated by Grok afterward. What is documented is far more interesting. Brent Kolvet was a Nevada prosecutor with fingerprints on some of the state's most aggressive prosecutions, most contentious reversals, and most politically charged legal fights. Very interesting. It says McGeorge Law 76 graduate Kolvet ran the Douglas County DA's office from 1979 to 1995, an era defined by hardline prosecution, capital punishment pushes, and repeated judicial friction. That friction surfaced early in Lyons versus State 1989 that Nevada Supreme Court reversed a conviction after Kolvet's office induced a guilty plea for conduct that wasn't criminal under Nevada law, explicitly citing prosecutorial misrepresentation, not a technicality, a failure of candor. Kolvet doubled down. As DA, he pursued the death penalty in multiple cases, including Young versus Ninth Judicial District Court, 1991, where his death notice survived challenge amid re-election scrutiny, and Gear versus Ninth Judicial District Court in 1990, a robbery murder case emblematic of his Capital First approach. When counties needed a prosecutor willing to step into legally radioactive cases, Kolvet was reportedly tapped. As special deputy DA in the Pershing County, he secured a death sentence in Sunner versus State 1996 for the murder of Nevada Highway Patrol trooper surviving disqualifications attempts over prior judicial ties. He also defended Nevada in the appeals and resentencing of the serial killer Gerald Gallego, known as the sex slave killer. Civil court didn't soften his style. Representing Pershing County against Burning Man, Kolvet negotiated a $240K year settlement over fees and land use authority. A federal judge blasted the deal as insulting to the intelligence, only to be reversed by the Ninth Circuit, which rebuked the lower court's reasoning. Another appellate rescue. Today, Kolvet's practices as a equity partner, Thorndale Armstrong, with a father that is well connected. Andrew Kolvet ties to the legal world, and the ruling cases don't just run deep. They are a part of who he is. Well, that is definitely probably true. Let's jump back into the rest of this. Deepening the state connections, Andrew Kolvet's brother, Curtis Kolvet, is a lieutenant colonial with the 757th Combat Sustainment Battalion with the Nevada National Guard. Isn't that interesting? Because we've had a lot of ties with Vegas here. I mean, we could probably name out a few, but I don't want to get off topic here. Andrew Kolvet's first cousin, Robert Kolvet, is also a lieutenant colonial in the Nevada National Guard. However, Robert's LinkedIn reveals that he has been working in military intelligence as a business manager for Netcom that is headquartered out of Fort Huachuca in Arizona. Isn't it funny how everyone ties back to this fort? No wonder everyone is running around Turning Point panicking. Makes sense. What is Netcom in simple terms? If the Army needs to communicate, share data, run apps, or fight in through cyberspace anywhere in the world, Netcom owns the network side. Netcom is subordinate to the U.S. Army Cyber Command and works closely with it. After an eyewitness spotted Erica Kirk at the fort, obviously allegedly, let's just say allegedly. Oh, this is alleged. I'm going to just get that out there. Only days before what happened to Charlie Kirk, Andrew Kolvet's attempts to provide an alibi for Erica obviously had failed epically. That alibi would later be botched by Paramount Tactical Gary Melton, who will not get off the internet. As we've said, like, his wife needs to pull the plug on that. He continues to be involved, but I think we all can agree, like, he's got to be getting something in the mail, allegedly. Just kidding. In Andrew's messages to Gary Melton, Andrew referred to the fort as some fort in Tucson. Isn't that hilarious? Like he doesn't know. I mean, Andrew. The internet is forever. The internet is a great thing. Just stop. Andrew was playing dumb when he said this, as evidenced in the post below. Why he was playing dumb, however, still remains a mystery. I know why, because he thinks everyone is a fool. No one's going to figure this out. And they did not bank on the internet being intelligent. They did not bank on people caring about Charlie Kirk as much as they did. They really thought that they were going to get away with this, and they see how that's going. And instead of just coming out and telling the truth, because the internet is forever and internet sleuths are amazing, and there's so many of them out there who just like to research in their spare time, and them thinking that people don't have resources that'll look into this and people aren't invested. Well, they've been sadly mistaken and tried to double down. I guess we'll let this video continue to show, and attempt to continue to tell you it's okay. Look to us to tell you what to think and feel. Don't worry, we got you. You're brainless, and we'll just tell you what to think. Yeah, no, like, I'm good. We'll move on. If you guys want to go to his ex, actually, then you guys can go through these posts. I want you guys to be able to go and like follow him and like his stuff. And for those who don't have X, I'll continue to share some of the research because he does have several interesting posts, but this one really was just something, to say the least. Adding another 20 years of military experience to the family is Robert Kolvet's wife, Cassandra Kolvet. Cassandra serves as the State Family Programs Director for the Nevada National Guard. Well, it just continues. It just continues. Additionally, Andrew's first cousin, Brett Larkin, is a captain with the 10th Mountain Division. As the headquarters company commander, Brett coordinates with the 10th Mountain Battalion commander on a daily basis. Despite the 10th Mountain's namesake and specialization in the mountain welfare, they were deployed to the desert of Fort, of course, between February and October in 2025 to assist with border operations. That date bracket is particularly interesting, I think, to most of us. In conclusion, Andrew Kolvet is a very well-connected individual whose family touches nearly every power node in our great country. If there is an ongoing cover-up in the assassination of Charlie, Andrew is not an innocent bystander. He's integral. I have to agree with that. And, because of what Candace has talked about as well, we all know that that's the case. We all know that that is a huge part of it. Also, we can just like go over this a little bit. So bulletproof evidence, Lieutenant Colonial Kirk Show commands, as I said earlier, the 757th official documents confirms his unit trains at the fort annually for real world law enforcement and deployment ops. Brother Robert Kolvet serves as a business manager for the U.S. Army NetCom and is headquartered at the fort. Unprecedented military access, like what? Perfect for wiping scandals overnight. Also, we have Miss Erica Kirk, where her mother and her military intelligence apps and all these different things that she takes part in running out of that fort. We just have a lot of people running out of that fort. For a fort that was non-existent not that long ago, they sure are in the public eye now, and I'm sure they are PO'd. And it says Andrew Kolvet's military connections don't end with the men in his family. Cassandra Kolvet says she has 20 plus years in the military between the Nevada NG, California NG, and the Army. Kolvet casually dropped on a podcast that she was with Big Army in Germany back in the day. Despite her claim, I can't find a single public record, formal or otherwise, that puts her at Leighton Barracks with the Army in Germany. So I guess that's not super confirmed, but she has stated certain things in an interview. Why would you make that up? I don't think she would. And then, of course, we have his cousin, Mr. Brett Larkin, who commands HHC 41st Engineer Battalion, 10th Mountain, eyes glued to battalion commands, on every op, intel drop, and troop movement. In 2025, the 10th Mountain floods the fort for the border, and engineers right in the mix. Very interesting time frame, isn't it? Honorable, sure, but stacked with firings, shady alibi texts, Erica Kirk sightings allegedly, and then CK probes. This bloodline link isn't just coincidence; it's a deep state family network. It sure looks like that to me. As I said, all alleged. I just wanted to show you guys this because I was like, I know that his family's very connected. We've heard about that from Candace Owens, but wow. Way more connected than probably anyone could have ever anticipated, and not a shocker at this point. I think everybody has to be that way in order for this to work, and they just didn't bank on anybody caring. So you guys let me know what you think. I always said, like, Andrew Kolvet, I was not really familiar with him at all when all this took place. And everything about their memorial speeches, even Stacey Sheridan, gave me the ick. Everyone is just too happy. No one was crying. It was like they were obsessed with the fact that they could get out there and talk to the world. It was like they were celebrities. And the way they're moving since then is so bad. The lies that they are blatantly telling, and then telling you, hey, don't believe your eyes, don't listen to your ears, but what we're telling you, and look over here. and what you're seeing is a lie, what you're hearing is a lie, like you can't think for yourself, is it just, you guys, you look more and more guilty doing that. Like you guys were better off just zipping it and remaining silent. As I've said, that's a gift. They should have ran with it, but narcissists can't help but be narcissists. And I think that's what everyone that we're seeing in the higher ups at Turning Point is. My opinion, all alleged. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. Please be sure to, if you guys have X, to go follow Travis and look at his stuff. If not, I will continue to share his stuff for people that don't have X. And I appreciate you guys being here and listening to the channel. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. It helps me, helps the community grow. I appreciate all of you. And I guys, and I hope that you all just have a great day. And yeah, just keep praying that truth comes to light and that God reveals the truth and we get some real justice for Charlie, because he was betrayed on a level that I don't think any of us could imagine. And he does deserve true justice. And I don't think that that starts with Tyler Robinson. Again, I believe he was there that day. He might have placed an item somewhere or, you know, was in the area. But do I believe he's the one who actually committed this horrible, horrible assassination? No, I don't. And so we do need to keep on this and keep talking about it and sharing these things. At this point, it's really crazy that there's all of these connections, and our FBI director, clearly very successful, the most transparent FBI director ever, has no questions about any of this. There's just like nothing to see here. It's like all good to go. Like, don't worry, guys. As Erica Kirk says, full steam ahead. We're just rolling. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. How many of you guys knew some of this? How many of you guys didn't? And if you guys want me to continue to deep dive, I have done some more digging and am putting together a in-depth, interesting podcast based on other lies that we've heard from Erica and other people at Turning Point that I will be finish putting together and get that out this week as well. Be on the lookout for that. And this just, I think, will help us understand exactly how all of this could be true and come about. And I just think it would be helpful. So I wanted to make sure that I put this together. That way you guys have a very good understanding of Mr. Kolvet and Mr. Best PR Manager Ever. And I will see you guys all in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.